Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference Podcast. And this week, our guest is Laura McDonald. Laura, how are you?
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Me too.
Excellent, excellent. Laura is speaking in Dublin in April. And what's your talk on, Laura?
I will be talking about weight loss.
All right.
Basically, the things I've learned over the years from learning what doesn't work and figuring out what is absolutely necessary to have anything in place for successful weight loss or weight management or whatever you want to.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So it's like the foundations that
Yeah.
need to be there for it to be successful.
Okay. How long have you been practicing as a therapist?
19 years.
19 years. So you have seen a lot of transformations in your clinic. So if you were to describe the benefit of hypnotherapy, you've nearly probably already have in your description of your talk, but do you want to?
The benefit of hypnotherapy, it's something that people are already doing. So it's easy to learn. But what they're already doing is the opposite, usually, thinking of what they don't want, thinking of what is not in their life, thinking of what they wish they had.
Mm-hmm.
The benefit of hypnotherapy is you can use that imagination in the best way possible. So if you have an issue, you think, okay, how would I like this to be instead? Or how would I like to be instead? Or how would I like to think instead? The benefits of hypnotherapy are endless, and once you've learned it, you can apply it to anything. So, if a client comes into you for a certain thing, you're teaching them how to manage that, how to deal with that, and incorporating self-hypnosis. Most of the time, most of us add that in, teach them how to do it, so they have this tool for life.
So they're changing how they can think about anything then with that tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. That's really powerful because our minds do influence every part of our lives, but that part on that people are already in hypnosis. Do you want to just expand on that a little bit?
Well, we're programmed from the moment we're born, basically, to, basically our surroundings determine how we feel, how we think, what we believe, what we're told, what we heard. And in the first few years of life, you just accept it all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, this is it. This is the truth. This is normal, whatever that normal is for each person. And then when you get to a little bit older, when you start school, you see things a little different. Other people have different opinions or different ways of things. They might speak to you in a different way that your family does. And then you start questioning what you already know.
Mm-hmm.
And just learning to come out of that. And that is a form of hypnosis, because it's what's been driven into your mind.
So that's where the programming comes from.
Yeah. And what you see, what you watch on the news, what you read, what you listen to, it's all hypnosis. Advertising is hypnosis.
Yes.
News is hypnosis. It's all what's being bombarded, what's being thrown in your face, basically.
Yes.
So what we would do as hypnotherapists is turn that around, unhypnotize them from what they're already, like you were saying earlier, what they're already programmed to believe and think, and give them a new way, a more preferable way that works better for them.
So that's a huge skill that anybody should have, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I always say it on any talk I have or any podcast. I'm always saying, and it's the first thing I said when I did my training, was like, well, why doesn't everyone know this? Why isn't this a basic lesson in school?
I think I
You're
probably said
taught
the same
math.
thing myself.
You're taught how to spell and write your name, and then there's with school that comes, sometimes bullying or other kids are nasty. If we had this from the youngest age possible, we'd manage all that so much better. I always say it, it's a basic life skill, I think.
It really is, isn't it?
Everybody should have.
Yeah.
But then it's also, if parents knew this, they teach it in the home.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you think about, in school or through our parents or through life, we learn, how to clothe ourselves, how to eat properly, how to exercise, how to just take care of ourselves in general. But actually, nobody teaches how to take care of our mind, which determines whether we do any of that stuff anyway, and
Yeah,
determines the way we look at the world, whether we feed ourselves properly, clothe ourselves properly, do the things we should do.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
And as you're saying, we're taught, wear something nice or wear your Sunday best. Everything has to look good on the outside. Have a nice, tidy house. And I always say this to clients as well. We do all that, but how often do you get into your mind and tidy that up?
that's the
Clean that up. Get rid of the rubbish. Make it a nice place to be.
absolutely a happy place to be. And most people don't
Yeah.
have the tools to do that.
And
So
then if they might, yeah, and that's why you find, they might have the nicest house and clothes, but it's up here. Is
mm,
that where the struggle is? You need to get all that right.
yeah, that I love that. That's a really nice way of thinking about it. Um, the so you did you learn this in the UK? Is that where you originally learned it?
Yeah, in London.
How did you step into hypnosis?
I was always watching Paul McKenna's shows on TV.
Right.
Kid, I was known for it. My mum and dad be like, "Paul McKenna's on the telly." Do you know? I'd be in there engrossed. Um, but then I was looking for a job. I'd left a part-time job and I was looking for another one in the newspaper, and this ad came up for the hypnotherapy course, and I just thought it'd be a bit of fun,
Mm,
and I signed up for it. And again, not in any way thinking I'd do anything with it. But as soon as I joined that course, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. Because everyone needs to know this. And I'm going to tell as many people as I can about it, that you can actually do so much for your own head.
yes.
Fascinating. Just from an ad in the paper, but I was always interested.
Yeah, it's
Well,
funny how little moments change our lives, isn't it?
yeah.
Little moments change our lives. It's
And it was
got
never a plan. Because
no.
I've taught hypnotherapy as a trainer. And I was always told when I was advertising, you need to target the people who are looking for it. But I was thinking, well, I wasn't looking for it.
Yes. And it's funny actually, because I mean, I think Gary Cole's had a similar kind of story where he
Yeah.
was in between and he saw something. Actually, I think he had a job as I have to go back and listen to the podcast properly, but he had a job as selling. He'd taken up like a stall because he had enough money and stuff. So he'd done a Christmas stall. There was loads of hypnosis books on it, and it really got him into that. And now he works with cancer patients, and
Yeah.
and like it's a profound impact that he's having on those people's lives, just like you are with your clients all the time. Because you are a trainer then as well. It's BWRT, isn't it?
I teach that as well, yeah. I
All right.
teach.
How did you get to become a trainer?
Um, so when I moved here, so I moved
Hmm.
to Ireland about 16 years ago, and I was doing my CPD because I used to always go into London to do my CPD and to the James Braid meetings and courses. But when I moved here, I'm about 3 hours from Dublin,
Hmm.
so I was looking online for CPD courses, and I joined Terence Watts's CPD courses because all of his are online. Then he came up with BWRT, and I did that. And I was in London on a training course with him, and he said to me, "Why don't you teach my hypnotherapy course in Ireland?" And he asked me 3 or 4 times. I kept saying no. And then one day I thought, no, I'm just going to do it. So I did. And then I became a BWRT supervisor and trainer for Ireland. I don't even know how that came about. Just I think because I was already a hypnotherapy teacher,
Yeah, of
he,
course.
he said, "Would you like to teach BWRT in Ireland as well?" So I said yes to that.
So you were already teaching before that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And it wasn't BWRT, it was something else before that, was it?
It was his hypnotherapy
This
course.
hypnotherapy course. Okay.
It's a
Okay.
year long. It's a 10-month course that I was teaching here. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And how do you obviously like BWR2? It's not a method that I'm familiar with. I'm gonna be honest with you. You'll have to do a session on me someday and then I'll experience it. But
Yeah.
um, how do you, what is it about BWRT that appealed to you I mean, ultimately we're all solution focused hypnotherapists is what we're trying to be anyway and help people improve their lives. But in terms of say BWRT, is there a difference in it that's
Oh yes, it's very different. It's not nice and relaxing. I know hypnotherapy isn't in itself meant to be relaxing, but it's a
Mhm.
nice side effect depending on what
It's an
method
association with it though, isn't it?
it is. But BWRT wouldn't be anything like that. It's
Okay.
highly energetic. It's very fast. It's louder.
Right.
You
Okay.
use your voice in a completely different way.
Okay.
But I like it because, like, I love both. But BWRT doesn't have the same. With hypnotherapy, you might try and find the cause of something. Although not all the time, but
Yeah.
it's there. But BWRT, you don't need to go back and find the cause.
Right.
You just need to know that it's there.
Okay.
So it's much faster in that sense, and it's less. There needs to be less talking.
Right.
Clients need to talk. Again, I know they don't need to talk much in hypnotherapy if they don't want to.
Yeah.
But it's more helpful for us as hypnotherapists if we know a bit more
Yes.
about what they've gone through. Whereas in BWRT, they don't have to tell us everything unless they really want to, because
All right.
sometimes it's so painful. I've had people sit in front of me and they're literally like shaking their head going, I can't. They can't say it.
Yes.
They can't speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's fine. Don't worry. You don't need to tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But
That's really powerful. That's really good. I use kinetic shift quite a lot, which
yeah,
again relies on similar kind of.
yes.
So the you set up in Mayo 16 years ago, is that right?
Yeah, 2007.
So your clinic, you deal with all types of clients. Are there specialities that you deal with?
I see quite a few different things. Some weeks there could be 10 or 12 different issues. So there's
Right.
a lot of anxiety, as we know, overwhelm, stress, uh, weight, as I was saying, smokers, um, all kinds of different things, goal setting.
Okay.
Students, I see a lot of students when it comes to exam time, trying to focus and not procrastinate and not be distracted by everything around them. So with the phones, everything's so easy to it's so easy to stop what you're doing. So they just want to have
Absolutely.
100% focus to get their work done.
Okay, I actually really like that part of it, because we can always focus on the problems, but on the coaching side of it, even, accessing the mind's capabilities that we don't allow it to access, which is what you're doing when you're doing that kind of stuff. Get helping people uh, get the life they want
Yeah.
by showing them their own power and strength, which is what you've been talking about. And weight loss has been a constant part of your program over the years, isn't it? So you've seen a lot of the reasons why people will keep the weight and
Yeah.
that they don't want to have.
It's actually something I didn't want to keep working in, but I just kept getting the inquiries. And because I was finding it really difficult. It is difficult to deal with weight because we need to eat,
Yeah.
and it's not like smoking. You can just stop smoking. You need to eat.
Yes.
And it's just starting to, since I've written a course about it as well, of course. It's just working really well for people, setting the
Fantastic.
foundations. And then, of course, if they need further work, if they want motivation to exercise, or if they want um, to be completely put off chocolate, we can do all that, of course, as well. So
Yeah.
it's, and it gives them hope. That's, and motivation and excitement. You could go on and on and on.
Gives them back a zest for life.
Yeah, yeah. And they're like, wow, and to enjoy the journey, not just saying, I'll be happy when I've lost 2 stone. Just enjoy how you feel through
Right.
the process. I think, yeah, actually, I do like who I am. This is quite nice. And that's the key, not
That's a
thinking,
real powerful gift to give somebody, isn't it?
yeah,
Or for them to give themselves, true. But
yeah. Like one woman, she left and came back a week later going, this is just the best thing I've ever done. And her body language and everything, she was just like a child. She's like, this is the best thing I've ever done.
right. So while you dealt with the weight, you'd actually shifted her complete focus.
Yeah. And at that point, she hadn't lost any weight,
Right.
but she was so happy. But that had completely switched from the way she was before. She was so horrible to herself.
Right.
And I was like, that's the problem.
Hmm.
Nothing's going to change if you're like that. Because if you were like that to a child, do you think they're going to thrive? Not really.
Nothing, of course not.
They'll just
Well,
curl up in the corner and go, I'm not going to bother trying. So
okay. So by addressing the underlying causes, which is basically what you're doing, your impact is way beyond. So it goes back to that point about the mind and how the mind influences every single part of us.
yeah, and also giving the mind, like I've got the points written down. I don't know, I don't want to give too much away about the talk, but
Yeah.
why do you want to lose weight? Most people haven't even asked themselves that.
Yes.
I just want to lose weight. But
Yeah.
why? What's your mind? How do you expect your mind to hook onto that idea if it's not looking very exciting? Or if there's no destination? It's like, okay, well, where are we going here? Have a
Yeah.
picture, have an idea, have a goal, what's your life going to be like when that's happened? Relationship with yourself, and then future pacing and feeling it.
Yeah. That's very important. Yeah. That's very.
Inner child, I always bang on about inner child, but then your future self, meet your future self.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking and feeling fantastic.
You're reminding me of Tony Robbins and his statement of what's your why, what's your why, what's your why. It's always the big question, what's your why? And because that
Yeah.
becomes the fuel that drives you once you have that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Exactly. So most people just come in going, I need to lose 2 stone. Okay, why? And then they're always like, I just do. So you get all that in place. Okay, let's talk.
yeah,
Sit with them and go through it all. Why? And then once they start talking, you can see their face changing and they're getting all excited, going, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. I'm going to feel like this, they're going to feel like this. And then we know when you're thinking that kind of stuff, you're visualizing that kind of stuff, you're activating something.
yes, you are. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, visualization is stuff that athletes use all the time. It's big in
Yeah,
sport.
exactly.
So
And that's scientifically proven to work.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Exercise, visualizing exercise.
Yeah. There's all kinds of studies on that, which have been carried out, particularly in the States, but where they've shown, basketball players who've just visualized and they've shown improvements just from that, just alone without it, even never thrown a basketball,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, there's all kinds of studies. You can go back and research them all. So the talk is on the underlying, on the principles behind weight loss and all the stuff that you've learned. Last year was the first year. I know you weren't talking last year, but what was it like to have a hypnotherapy conference in Ireland?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's just like obviously meeting like-minded
Hmm.
people, because it's an isolating
Yeah.
profession. Well, for me, I find it a bit isolating because in London there was loads of us, but then not often communicating much.
Yeah.
But here it's a really supportive community. Everyone's genuinely wanting each other to do well, genuinely interested in each other's journeys. And we've got a WhatsApp group and we've got great friends. It's not even been 8 months.
No, it's 8 months. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And we all seem to get on so well. It's just brilliant to have.
Yeah. It's fantastic because we actually have had 3 events so far, physical events and loads of online events as well, actually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people have,
Yeah. And for conferences in London, there's always a bit of nerves because, sometimes you don't know anyone.
yes.
You go. But this is lovely. It's like meeting up with friends.
Yeah.
Even though there's always going to be people there that you still don't know, you've still got one or two that you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. And when you think about it, all of that is taking place and people didn't really know each other very much.
Nobody
You
did.
know, nobody did it before last May. Yeah, so it is, and you're speaking on a Saturday morning, aren't you?
Yeah,
Looking
thankfully.
forward to that. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
It is April 20th and 21st for anyone who is listening to this, and we put the links to it all below. In terms of what hypnotherapy means for you and the future of hypnotherapy in Ireland, what would you say? They're two different questions, actually, so I'll rephrase that. So the future for hypnotherapy in Ireland in terms of allowing it to expand, what is it that it kind of probably needs to do?
Just more awareness of what it is and how it's not mind control. Like it's your own mind control. It's not the hypnotist taking control of your mind. It's the hypnotist showing you how to manage your mind. So it's actually the opposite of being controlled by someone else.
Yes.
I think over lockdown, more people were becoming more open to it, and other therapies. I just think if people have more awareness and realizing how powerful it is for everyone, it'd be
Yeah,
great.
I think that is one of the aims of the conference, actually, is just to
Yeah, yeah,
expand the awareness of it. And that's something that all of us have a role to play
yeah,
in about, whether it's those individual stories that we have, or whether it's the collective where we all come together and
yeah.
produce something that combines all of those stories together in a scientific evidence way or something. But that's something that can be for down the road.
Mm.
But it is, yeah, it is kind of, it's such an amazing tool. And like you said, that whole thing of why doesn't anyone know this? Why doesn't everyone know this? I should say, sorry. It should be.
Yeah,
It should be. It empowers people in a really amazing way.
yeah.
Um, in terms of, so the last question for you, Laura, is because I ask everybody this question, so therefore you're no different. What does hypnosis mean to you?
Well, it's changed my life, and I use it within my family, my children, teach them how to mind themselves. Like even my daughter was saying to me the other day, I'm so stupid, I'm so stupid. I was like, never say that. That is not true. Stop, turn it around right now. Do you know, it's a direct suggestion
Yes.
that your mind, even though long after you said it, it's still there,
Yeah, of course.
round
Yeah.
and round and round. So to me, yeah, it's life changing. It's helped me in moments of, low points in life. And I don't know how I would be without it now, because you can't imagine.
Yeah.
Because you do get to a point where you stop yourself. If you have a low day, sometimes you say, okay, this is a low day. And then you get to a point where you say, okay, this is enough now. Time to shift the thinking, get back into a more positive mindset. But without that, who knows
Yeah.
how you could get on those days, just give up, be
Actually, so many
despair.
people do, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is that set of skills and tools that you have.
Awareness,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, and
That's what.
ultimately, each of us are human.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
go through our things that we all experience, but we just have tools that
yeah.
we can apply to ourselves, and that's a really good way to look at that, because everything starts from that personal perspective anyway and just rolls out from there. So I'm glad you found hypnosis.
So am I. Brilliant.
Right. Any final thoughts that you want to say to people before?
Um, I don't know. Not that I can think of.
That's all
Just
right.
remember that everything around you is suggestion. Everything.
I like that. And it is.
And you get to decide how you interpret it and what you want to see in the world. What you focus on, you will see. What you think about, you will see. What you think about, you'll see more of. Whether
That
that's good
is
or
so
bad.
true.
Yeah, it's not saying that you make up and manifest magical things. You just see more of it. You notice more of it. It's always there,
Yeah.
just as the bad stuff is as well. What you
Mm.
focus on is,
Yeah.
you might as
You-
well.
It's funny, you'd never think there was so much good stuff goes on in the world. When you listen to media, you think it's all bad, but there's far more good than bad. It's just we don't go looking for it.
We
All
don't.
right.
It's not presented to us. It's not.
Absolutely. Good news doesn't
Yeah,
sell, by the way. Um,
doesn't.
yeah. Laura, thank you. I look forward to your presentation on the Saturday, April 20th. And to anyone else who is thinking of coming, please just, it's going to be a wonderful 2 days, or actually
I'm along.
3, because it will start on the Friday night,
Yeah,
and and continue on well into Sunday. So for anyone who's thinking of coming, the links are all below. And to wherever you are, to Laura, firstly, for the time today and to a wonderful presentation that I'm really looking forward to seeing. And to everyone else, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I wish you all a wonderful day and see you in Dublin in April. Bye.